to Finn vs. History. I'm here, as ever, with Horatio Gould. And guns are going off. It's Iran in the mid 20th century. This is part 2 of our series on the Islamic Revolution. Yeah, I see a lot of sense in it. Actually, I think you're frequently being called out in the comments for showing too much shin, and I think for Christ's sakes, pull your socks up. To be honest, what is the issue with your socks?
Yeah, well, I've finally got some new socks. I've got 8 pairs of different colours because I've listened to the comments. There's been protests about how uncolourful and short my socks are. Yep. But I have listened, and I
can still see shin on your other leg. That's disgusting.
Right. In honour of the Ayatollah's Islamic Revolution,
Dr. Grumpykins.
I am covering up my
Thank you.
shin,
Yeah. I think we actually need Finn vs. History branded suspenders for you.
I think well, I've been wanting Finn vs. History branded socks for a long time with little,
So to get us back up to speed, this is part 2 in our Islamic Revolution series. Yeah. We left off last episode with a CIA and MI6 backed coup. Yeah. In 1953, Mohammad Reza Shah, little boy, he's now in charge of Iran, and the Prime Minister...
He moisturises his hands.
He moisturises his hands. What a disgusting...
lavender smelling, he loves it.
He wears women's perfume.
Yeah.
He speaks 3 languages.
Yeah.
He's gay. He's a twink. He's in charge of Iran. Yeah. The Prime Minister's all but a puppet.
Yes.
And we're going to...
Ironically, a puppet that was helped put in by Kermit Roosevelt.
Yeah, it's very ironic, actually. The puppeteer was called Kermit, weirdly, rather than Jim Hansen. It's the other way around here. And so we're in 1950s Iran. Yeah. Where are we in the world? What's happening in this time?
All right, so this is after the invention of the cricket ball.
Cricket is famously alive and well at this point.
Yeah. But it's before the invention of swing ball.
Is it?
50s.
When's swing ball invented?
It was a bold one.
Swing ball is invented in 1967 in South Africa. Hang on. So swing ball's apartheid?
It's an apartheid invention.
Is swing ball whites only?
It's invented in...
From this day, family barbecues would never be the same again. Well, it depends who's in your family.
So this is invented by white people enjoying apartheid.
Well, no, hang on. It could be either. It could be like a sort of almost like a rebellion sport.
This feels very white to me.
Hey, swing ball. Hey, put a ball in that string, stick it to the pole.
Right. I don't need that. It feels very Protestant colonialist. I don't need anyone to play with me.
I don't need friends.
Keep myself entertained.
Yeah, it feels actually like South African anger management is what it feels like.
You fuck this.
Yeah, fuck. Swing ball is apartheid, is it? Wow.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? The things you learn on this podcast. People commenting saying
they learn nothing.
Episode,
that's a load of bollocks.
What the fuck are you on about? You've learned that we have to...
We're the only podcast covering swing balls linked to apartheid South Africa.
No one else is saying it. Everyone's going on about the fruit or whatever. Queen are playing.
Don't call the Shah a fruit.
The Shah is a fruit. And Ayatollah is a juicer.
Well, yeah.
It's a blender.
Well, he's just sort of steamed veg, isn't he?
Oh yeah, the Ayatollah is overcooked steamed broccoli. And the Shah's a big juicy peach.
Yeah,
you got to eat the Shah over the sink.
Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. What is his? He's got a mixed career in power because it's not all bad, it's not all good.
He loves going on holiday. When the going gets tough, he fucks off.
It's true. He's very soft, but he also does bring around some actually quite good progressive policies. More controversially is his land reforms. He redistributes land from basically trying to get out of the feudal system.
Slow down you're going straight into land reforms. Right. You're obsessed with land reforms.
I'm obsessed with land reforms.
Yeah, I want to play swing ball on a new Fuck, swing ball is white. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Do not touch my land.
If you...
that is my swing ball territory.
It actually sounds like... It almost sounds like some kind of punishment for black slaves.
Like pointless labour?
No, they'd have to get in rate. They'd have to tie their hands behind their back, get on the other side of the swing ball, and the white guy would try and hit. So we left off in the 50s,
right?
And
yes.
with all soft hands, is now in power.
Yeah.
And the first thing he does in this timeline, really, we should talk about, is he establishes the secret police.
You're right. Yes.
1957. They're called Savak. There is actually Savak. There is actually a kebab shop on my road called Savak.
Really?
Which is now it's tainted somewhat.
My friend.
Please, my friend. Secret, please. Interrogation. No, not for you.
Anybody next, please. Anybody next?
No, salad and sauce. Savak is a brutal. They've got quite a nice logo though. Actually, if we're looking at,
we love graphic design of brutal regimes. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's not. It's not.
It's nice. It's an allusion to a Persian heritage. That's very nice.
Now hang on. What's going on there? Because there's
a Gryffindor.
Yeah,
it's trans.
It's a trans griffin
with like an Assyrian beard. But then if you look at Persepolis, they've got those fuckers.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. It's very funny. Right, so Savak is a state security police that now the Shah has a sort of puppet.
If you're running a state in the Middle East, you got to have a secret police.
Get Savak.
You got to first move.
Yeah.
You got to get a Gestapo.
You need it. You need it.
Yeah.
The people, the sweets need to be in the top cupboards.
Yeah.
And if they get a step and they get to it, you need to have come down hard.
Yeah.
So this is in the 50s, and as you were saying, the Shah does a lot of good things, but I
guess from a very Western perspective, though, is all the things that we like.
We
enjoy.
don't like Dr. Grumpykins. So I guess we've got to state our claim. I guess we're somewhat biased in that we think Dr. Grumpykins is bad.
Yes, exactly.
I like seeing women's hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Not as a weird thing. I don't notice it.
Yeah.
I'm neutral on women's hair.
So you don't have a hair fetish?
No.
Well, you probably would.
If I was Iranian, I would crumble at the sight of a woman's hair.
So you probably would have a hair fetish.
So I would have a hair fetish.
Yeah.
But I don't think you should have one.
Yeah. But that's very Western centric,
Is that why people have a foot fetish? Because they're always
covered
up.
Like
if we were all in open toes, like sandals, then do you think it's seasonal?
So back in the Greek times, the sandal era.
They've got other stuff to do back then.
But I'm just saying, like the sandal era, I think people were not as fussed with feet, but because of the kind of Ayatollah-esque regime we forced on our feet, which is the proliferation of shoes.
You're saying the Ayatollah's behind the proliferation of shoes?
Well, I'm just saying that it's not far off.
I wonder if foot fetishes are seasonal.
Yeah.
In the winter, because people are being denied feet because of the weather, they get hornier for them.
Right.
Whereas in the summer, you walk outside, there's feet everywhere.
It's nothing.
So I think it's a season. Foot fetishes kick off more in the winter. It's a winter sport.
Yeah.
Anyway, basically in the late 50s, this is all about growth, modernization, oil, powered by oil. The Shah essentially becomes a benevolent dictator.
Right.
And at all points, he's like, look at the economy, it's booming. The women, I mean, there's footage of Iran before 79, the 60s.
Yes.
Women have got their cans out. It looks fucking great.
But it's like California. Yeah, it's like California in the 60s.
California. Yeah, there's a song called like Iran, Republic of Iran.
Everybody was surfing.
Yeah.
Surfing IRM.
Yeah. Tehran in the 60s is fucking swinging because also it's on the hippie trail, right?
And Khomeini's just...
He's Khomeini.
He's livid.
We haven't introduced him, but he is sort of on the sidelines, just sort of...
Just imagine for this whole period, he's
in a city that's called Qom, which is quite funny. Qom, which I think is a religious city.
My friend, Qom.
Qom, please, Qom, my friend. He's in a... we should introduce the Ayatollah. We'll do that in a second. But this is footage of Tehran. So Tehran is basically... like it's on the hippie trail, which is this big route from Paris to India, essentially. So, if you're a young adult in the 60s and 70s, you're going through Tehran. That's one of your big stops on your interrailing.
Yeah.
You're going through Afghanistan. You're going to try to get to India to find yourself. But you're stopping
Kabul
off in
was
Tehran.
going through a similar period. Baghdad. Our current view of the Middle East, it wasn't. Across the board, this wasn't.
But I think if you're a young person listening to this, right? I don't think your idea of Iran. This should blow your mind.
Yeah.
In the 60s, Charlie, this footage doesn't have any women with cans. You got to get cans out. Women in Iran in the 60s. It's like California. It's the swinging 60s.
Yeah. They've got London red double-decker buses.
But it's also just all based on Britain. I mean, it is so Western.
Yeah.
And I guess you can see
You
why.
can see why people are getting a bit livid.
Yeah, you can see why Grumpykins has a point.
Yeah, coming over here, getting our women to get their cans out.
Yeah, look at this. You've got the mini skirts in.
Yeah.
The fucking makeup. They're lying down. They're doing science. That's obviously terrible now. Women shouldn't be allowed anywhere near science.
I mean, they got some things right.
Yeah, no, I mean, a stop clock is right twice a day. So, but the Shah is basically like, we're gonna fully westernize. We've got all this oil revenue coming in. I'm being propped up by the Americans. They're paying me money. And
he does that. Yeah, he has brutal suppressions, which leads to discontent. But they don't know that it will get worse after him. Basically.
Yeah. But the Shah's sort of great undoing is the fact that he's concentrating on the economy and the westernization, and he's giving people economic freedom and education without any political freedom, which is a tension that can't hold.
Right.
If I'm telling you, like, I'm going to give you 20 quid, but you have to vote for who I say, you'd be like, I don't.
Depends.
I don't know. Yeah. And I'm like, no, you have to vote. You have to vote reform.
Yeah. Okay.
20 quid.
20 quid though.
It's 20 quid. That's my point.
20 quid's 20
quid. 20 quid. 20 quid, you vote reform.
25 and that's a deal.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of Iran, right?
Yeah.
But there's always grumblings of discontent because it's 20 quid or vote reform. But if you choose to if you don't take the 20 quid, or if you go, I'm not doing it, then I'm putting you in jail.
Yeah. And fundamentally, the pace of modernisation, there's always going to be tensions. Like, this always happens. If you modernise too quickly, huge swathes of people get left behind. They get discontented.
Yes.
Brexit.
Brexit. Right? It's Brexit. It's Iranian Brexit.
Yeah.
So in 1963, the Shah is like, I'm gonna start something called the White Revolution.
Right. It's already sounding more and more Western every time.
I love this. Are you thinking, oh, is that swing ball? No, it's not. Swing ball's not White Revolution. The White Revolution in South Africa, very different.
Yeah.
He calls it the White Revolution because red means communist.
Yes.
And something we didn't say last time, actually, is that a large part of the coup to get rid of Mossadegh is the British used the threat of communism from the Russians, which has a northern border with Iran, as a way of getting their money in.
Right.
So the Americans...
And there's a lot of communist factions in the intellectuals in
if you're a young intellectual in the 60s, you're along with your long hair and your dirty bottom, you're reading and writing about communism.
Yes, yeah, of course.
Part of the reason their bottom is dirty is because they want to share bathrooms.
Yes.
They don't believe in individual toilet paper or whatever.
Yeah.
Use recycled toilet paper. It's all grim stuff.
Yes.
Greta Thunberg she got a dirty bottom.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's a communist party called the Two-Day Party.
Right.
Basically, they're trying to keep them down. But what the Shah does in 1963 is he calls it the White Revolution because red implies communism. Black implies like Islamic.
Yep.
So he goes, well, I'm going to call it white to be like modernity.
Right.
This is also when Harold Wilson's talking about the white heat technology.
Yep.
White is a very modern colour in this time.
Exactly.
So,
60s.
It's the 60s. So, but this is what's so weird is that if you call it a revolution, but you're the king, it's not really a revolution, is it? It's like you can't just... You're the one that's meant to be...
It's like Justin Trudeau at the front of his climate change rallies.
He's exactly that.
You're in charge, lad.
Yeah, what the fuck are you on about? I'm going to start a revolution. What, are you leaving then? No. I'm going to lead it. You go, well, that's not a revolution. That's just policy. So the things that he does...
That's true.
The things that he does in his White Revolution...
But if I was in charge, every policy, I'd
this
say
is a
it's
revolution. Yeah.
I'd be like Che Guevara, just doing my... Yeah, if I do my autumn statement...
Yeah, I mean, it's a budget is what it is. It's not a revolution, but... I mean, to be fair, if Rachel Reeves called cutting disabled people's benefits revolution... Exactly.
But she's dressed as Che Guevara and she's like,
revolution, we're going to cut... But then that's a very weird revolution, isn't it? We get these disabled people are too good for too long.
Glenn Hoddle's like, I've been saying this for you.
Glenn Hoddle's like, what? I'll be there.
They've been punished for sins.
This is a fucking revolution. People are just chucking wheelchairs down the stairs. They're building more stairs. They're getting rid of ramps.
Rid of ramps, more stairs.
More steps. But, all legs matter.
Yeah, well, I guess there would be like a literal tiered class system, upstairs, downstairs.
There would literally be an upstairs, downstairs. If Rachel Reeves decides to lead a revolution against disabled people's benefits.
All able-bodied people right at the top.
Yeah. We've been down with these wheelies for too long. Get us up there. Anyway, so the White Revolution, which the Shah is aimed at, he basically wants to say that by the 80s we will be more modern than America and the UK.
Yeah,
and he's able to do this because they're bringing in insane oil revenue from BP, which women are granted the right to vote.
Yeah,
and basically,
Khomeini
so you bear in mind.
this.
So I guess we should bring in Khomeini and who this guy is. Yeah. But while all this is happening, Khomeini is watching.
There's something bubbling.
There's a guy
always watching.
There's a guy who's always watching, never saying much. He's just frowning.
Yeah,
old Dr. Frown himself.
So he came from a rural. It couldn't be more different to the upbringing of the Shah.
It's
right?
yin and yang, right? Yeah. So the Shah's in Switzerland. He's noshing off waiters, learning how to cook cuisine.
Khomeini grew up in a rural kind of
Hom.
Yeah.
A small town, central Iran, and he's from a religious family. All his dad, his granddad, they're book botherers.
Yes, yeah.
What's the equivalent of God bothering, but as Muslim?
Allah bothering.
Allah botherers. They're bothering Allah.
Allah annoyers.
Allah annoyers.
Annoying.
They're Allah agitators.
Yeah.
What's he doing up there? That's what they're saying. They're knocking on doors. They're saying, "Can I talk to you about Allah?" You're like, "No." Yeah. Go away. So he's just studying. He's just reading. He's in his bedroom. He's reading.
He's working his way up the clergy.
He's reading, and maybe he's touching a bead every now and then, but he's reading.
To be honest, there's not.
He's reading the same book.
Yeah, there's.
For 20
he's
years.
Like me when I'm reading any book, when I'm like, fucking off.
Yeah. He's reading it because he has to go back.
I completely forgot what that last 3 pages was.
He reads 2 sentences, then goes, "Oh, fucking orcs! Imagine an orc," and then he goes, "Oh, fuck!
It's like what I do is I read 2 pages and then I fall asleep, and then I go back and I'm like, I forgot the last 2 pages, so I'm stuck on it for years.
He's stuck in like an infinite loop. So he's not actually finished the Quran. He's reading it for 20 years, but he's not finished it yet.
Wait, so that must mean what happened there?
What fucking women cover up women? Wow, where did that go?
One of the slowest readers of all time.
Khomeini is. That's why he's frowning, because he's trying to understand what the book says.
What?
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's one of the first kind of outspoken critics of the monarchy in West Empire.
Yeah, in the 40s, he's starting to get slightly more politically involved. Yeah. But it's the White Revolution where Grumpykins really...
He's had enough.
He's had enough. Right.
He's finally put his book down.
I'm putting my book down because I can't finish it.
I don't know how this ends, but I bet it doesn't end with you being able to vote.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Shah's given... Let's talk about what the Shah has introduced. He's given women the right to vote, and they're included in politics. He's given 5-year plans. He's building infrastructure, and then now you want to talk about land reforms because that's what you like talking about, isn't it?
Well, this was a big thing, yeah. So quite a progressive thing that he's kind of, I guess, breaking down some more of the more feudal elements of Iranian culture by redistributing land from these large landowners to peasants, basically, which happens all over the place, right? Trying to create kind of
middle
more
class,
Western
trying to
middle,
shortcut middle class.
But that also creates a lot of.
Do you remember when you're playing The Sims? And you're like, I want a bigger house. I'm just going to do whatever the cheat is, and just like
Rosebud
that.
or
Rosebud and just that with the semicolons.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing. He's like middle class. I'm bored.
Yeah.
I'm bored of these peasants. They're too ugly and thick. Middle class.
Then you are pissing off powerful landowners, which will come back to bite you in the arse.
There's footage of him just handing out money to peasants. But the Shah is doing it himself. And it's like when you see, Liz Truss or whoever in a hard hat looking at an infrastructure project, he's basically in a tent in like a food stall just handing out money to a queue of peasants, like big wedges of cash going, you own your land now, the state's paying for it. Yeah. But this, despite the women stuff, this is what Grumpykins hates the most. What? The land reform.
Right.
He's like...
hates it.
That's the church's land. Or I think maybe he thinks the church is... I don't really know what his problem is with land reform. I'll be honest, land reform's too boring for me to ever really understand what's going on.
But so the Shah also... He's progressing in a lot of places, but he's also doing some just kind of like quite childish moves. Like he gets the West Germans to build, I think, a nuclear power plant.
Right.
At high expense. The West Germans like, brilliant. We're going to make loads of money out of this.
Yeah.
But I was watching a documentary with an interview with one of them, and it's just like, it's crazy. There's no country that needs a nuclear power plant less than Iran. Yeah. They sit on an ocean of oil.
Yeah, but and they have no infrastructure at all to power.
So it's like, He's doing that as a symbol of that we're just like the West, but it's like, you don't even need this shit.
And now they've got a nuclear power station and we're fucked.
Yeah, I guess so. I never put two and two together.
So it's the Germans again, is it? The Germans have fucked us in more ways than one. Because now Grumpykins has got a nuclear power plant.
It was really, in this documentary I was watching, it's just a very funny West German. It was like, we're very happy for the work, but quietly I was thinking, you don't need this. This is very...
Because what the Shah does is he's like with the oil and all this nuclear stuff, he's basically bringing foreign labourers in, Americans, to run it all, who are high skilled. And then at the same time, he's educating all these Iranians. But when they come back, they still don't know how to work it, and there's no jobs for them because there's Iranians, there's Americans.
So a lot of they've taken our jobs. Anti-immigration and was from the middle class.
Yeah, and the Americans have more rights. Foreigners have more rights in Iran than Iranians do, because you can't get Americans to come to your country if you can't, I don't know, fucking booze or whatever. I don't know what rights they are.
Yeah,
but Iranians are like, well, hang on, I'm educated, which weirdly means I'm into communism in the 60s. So, and I'm coming back and there's no jobs for me, but I'm clever and there's Americans here. It's a tension.
Yeah.
So Khomeini is, this is where he kicks off.
Yeah.
This is stage left, enter Grumpykins.
Right.
And he's just, I don't think he actually says anything ever in his life.
He just growls. Yeah.
And he does do a famous speech. All right, fair enough. But in the speech, the famous speech is this amazing articulate speech
for something.
Oh, that's that.
There's just, I always find it funny. Just complaining about women having the vote is just a funny platform.
Very funny. Yeah.
It's just, there's something really funny about being like a revolutionary, but the revolution is that women don't.
It's taking rights away. It's
There's something
funny.
so funny about that. It's like an attitude. No. We were, and it's just like, how do you get people to cheer? How do you get men and women to cheer? Take away your vote. Yeah.
But that's what. So it's like it's Rachel Reeves taking away disabled people's benefits.
Yeah.
It's able-bodied people and disabled people cheering. Yeah. They're lifting them up, lifting the chairs up like a Jewish wedding.
Yeah. Yeah.
He denounced Khomeini's sermon in '63, denouncing the Shah as a wretched, miserable man, and warned him. He's basically like a dog. He's a grumpy dog. Yeah. He's what's the grumpy dog called? Is it not Pluto?
Clifford.
Not Clifford.
He's not grumpy. He's fucking
Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Yeah.
No, that's the Communist Party.
Yeah.
2-day party of Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Yeah, the Red Scare is Clifford the Big Red Scare.
Droopy. That's what I mean.
Oh right.
Khomeini's droopy.
Yeah.
Grumpykins.
Something I have a lot of respect for with Islamic fundamentalists. I mentioned this to you before, I think, but throughout human history, men have always tried to oppress women.
Yes.
It's quite a natural urge in society.
Yep.
Men are physically stronger. They will find systems of governance.
Women are annoying.
That will, and that's happened in every single.
Yep.
But nowhere has done it so thoroughly.
Yep.
Than Islamic fundamentalists.
Yep.
You have to give it to them. Like, how have you managed to get away with that? I think a lot of men across the world, it's like, how have you done that? We've all been trying to do this.
Yeah.
And you've just done it. How have you managed to do that?
You just thrown a towel over them. You just gone, right, no, shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
It is amazing. It's the most comprehensive dismissal of women.
And they love it as well.
Some of them love it. Yeah. Some of them fucking love it. They're like, don't take my burqa away. Yeah. Or don't take my...
And this is from a very Western-centric... Well, I think partly because I find a lot of this type of really fervent Islamic fundamentalism really scary in quite like an interesting way. That's why I'm reading more about it, almost like a horror story. Right. But we're coming from a very Western-centric position. Yeah. But it's the position I find it so hard to understand. Do you know what I mean? The cultural relativism of it, obviously it matters a lot to a lot of people, but I just cannot, in my Western brain, I really struggle to get my head around a lot of this stuff.
No, same. But
it seems the furthest from our worldview politically.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Women should get their tits out. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
We're like, put Gail Porter on Big Ben. Yeah. She's nude. You're not doing this in Iran. Yeah. Gail Porter on the Iranian parliament. Yeah. Everyone's dying.
And a lot of people say, why don't you do jokes about Islam? That's like a lot of the comments we're getting. Do an episode of Muhammad. Yeah. Because we're scared they'll kill us.
Yeah. There is it's funny they go, oh, you won't cross that line.
Yeah.
What, you mean the line attaching my neck to my head? Yeah. I'd quite like to not cross that line, actually.
Yeah, it's funny. Everyone's like, oh yeah, why won't you do about Islam? Because
they will
they
kill
follow
you.
through.
Yeah. They really do follow through. They follow through in their threats. And Christians just don't.
They just don't.
The Christians go, oh, well, no biscuits for you. I can live with that. I can go around the corner and buy a packet of biscuits. I can't get another head on my neck. I've got one head, famously. We all got one head. And they will chop it off.
Look at Charlie Hebdo. It was nasty little comedy writers like us who got
and they got carried away and they won't do anything about it. They fucking did. They shot up a fucking cartoon studio. Of course they'll shoot up a podcast.
One thing I definitely will say for a fundamentalist Islam is maybe the worst sense of humour in the world.
Yep.
They might have...
Well, it's Dr. Grumpykins, isn't it?
They might have the least sense of humour of anyone in the world.
Like they're watching.
They might be the shittest crack.
Khomeini is watching Mr. Bean like this.
Maybe the worst banter in the world. Like,
yeah, Christmas dinner. I mean, whatever dinner it is, I don't know what dinner it is.
Just have a laugh.
Yeah, no, they're not. Yeah, I mean, you get fundamentalists. It's like they're not. I mean, what are they laughing at? They're laughing at people's heads being chopped off.
Maybe.
Anyway, blah blah blah. The White Revolution angers many, particularly the clergy, who saw it as an attack on traditional Islamic values, landowners, and intellectuals.
Yeah.
Basically, Tehran in particular. I mean, there's a big disparity between the cities and the country.
Yeah.
Tehran is like, when you've arrived. There's a clock on the wall in the bank.
Right.
As a city. Tehran's like Tokyo, London,
right.
New York, Tehran.
Right, fine.
Now, no one fucking cares what time it is in Tehran. There's no tits out. I can't have a drink. Who fucking cares?
If you're a woman, it's just
5 o'clock
time to get back to the
it's
kitchen.
not in Tehran. It's never 5 o'clock in Tehran. That's what that saying is.
It's never a glass of white wine with the girls.
It's cocktail hour. Not in Tehran, it's not. It's fucking cover up, stop gobbling cocks, go home.
But when does
you know the fucking COVID slogans? Stay indoors, protect the NHS, save lives.
Yeah,
put that drink down, stop gobbling cocks, go home. That's Iran.
When does Khomeini get exiled to the northern Iran?
It's in the 60s, I think. At 64.
Right.
Khomeini, so just after he starts grumpying off about the Shah's reforms, he
either goes into hiding or gets exiled.
Well, he goes to Turkey and then he goes to Iraq and he goes to Najaf, which is one of the biggest cities in Shia. He's Shia, by the way.
We'll come to that in a second.
I don't really understand.
I'll explain it because I got a little bit on it. Basically, he goes into exile for, I think, 12 years, 14 years in like the north of Iran or Iraq somewhere, just biding his time.
It's Najaf in Iraq.
With just a couple of very close family members and occasionally has some followers telling him, keeping him abreast of what's going on. But apparently, apart from that, people who saw him on his day-to-day basis, all he would do is just go to the mosque and home. For 14 years...
He's trying to finish his book. He's trying to finish this fucking book.
He does nothing but go to the mosque. That's it. So he's literally... There's nothing to say...
That's it. He goes to Turkey initially, but then he's extremely angry at the secular dress of Turkish women. So he goes to Turkey, he goes, brilliant, Islamic country. He sees everyone get with the fucking turkey teeth in their hair, and he goes, that's not right. So
he's bald as well, isn't he? So
I don't know. He's always in. He's always in whatever that.
Yeah, well, that's hiding a hairline, isn't it?
Is it turban?
Anyway, so the Ayatollah is Shiite, and there's the two major schools of Islam.
Don't say that.
What?
I think he's all right. That's good stuff, isn't it?
It's good stuff.
It's a quick single. Just take a quick single into the leg side. Just change the strike. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just change the strike.
Yeah, let's get Leach off strike.
Get him off strike. Get Stokes in to win it with a shot. The most famous single in the world.
Yeah, Leach is doing like pun singles to make sure that he's never on strike.
He's just polishing his glasses. I'll just slow him down. Slow the play down. Quick single into the leg. Sorry, he's Shiite.
Yeah, so Shiite and Sunni. It is very hard to understand, but these are the two major schools of Islam. Shiite fundamentally believes that there's like a lineage from Muhammad, the key one being his like nephew Ali. I don't want to get this wrong because I know people care about this a lot.
You really don't want to get this wrong.
Sunnis believe in election through a council, and Shia believe in a divine lineage through Ali, Muhammad's cousin and son-in-law, and they also believe in this sort of divine authority of the imams, who are meant to be descendants of Ali, as spiritual and religious leaders because they're divinely guided in the way that Catholics believe in the Pope.
Yeah.
So there's like a divinely guided individuals on earth.
Yeah.
Whereas the Sunni, it's a bit more about just following the example of the Prophet Muhammad and recognizing the authority of elected caliphs.
So there is also a mysticism to, is it Shia? Because there's a whole separate branch of some. Oh, I can't remember what it's called.
There's the only majority Shiite countries. The only majority Shiite country, I think, is Iran, and because Iran has such a strong, rich cultural heritage of its own.
Yeah, because it's Persian.
The Shiite, because of Persia, countries where
Iraq's a bit of Iraq's a bit of a hodgepodge.
Yeah. Okay.
They're a slight majority, famously.
Bahrain. So there's a couple of them, but Sunni is 80% of all Muslims are Sunni.
Yeah.
That Saudi Arabia is kind of the,
pajamas.
Pajamas?
They're wearing pajamas.
All right. There's a lot of pajamas in this region. I don't think that's...
I think Sunni are pajama Muslims.
Right.
And Shia are...
So what's the Ayatollah wearing? He's dressed like Darth Vader. He's dressed like a villain.
He's Darth Vader, isn't he?
I mean, it's kind of mad. It's like... It's that, are we the bad guys? That Mitchell Webb sketch. Like, why am I wearing a dark cloak? Anyway, but the Shia side of Islam infuses with the Persian history. It has its own thing. And that's why Sunnis, they often, as a way of slagging off Shia, to call them Zarathustrian kind of weirdos, basically.
Yeah,
which is an ancient Persian...
There's a mysticism to Shia. I just love, as you're explaining that, I could see almost subtitles. Please don't cut my head off. Please don't cut my head off. Please don't cut my head off. Right, so you've got the Sunni who are obviously, please don't cut my head off. I'm trying. I'm really trying.
What I'd like is, can I have a chance to apologise before you cut my head off? That's what I want.
What have you said?
Well, no, I just don't want.
Do they take apologies?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Can you give me a chance?
I don't think they take apologies
because they just go straight in with the Hebdo. They went straight in, didn't they?
They go it's not say sorry or cut my head off. It's cut my head off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you can get out of a lot of situations because with comedy and charm. Do you know what I mean? And I feel it's very hard to charm these guys.
These guys are an absolute. It's checkmate. It's straitjacket. You're not getting out. So Khomeini is sent to Najaf. It's Shiite, yeah. I think that's a bit strong, but anyway. Quick single, get off strike. Now he goes.
Had a good time. He's not. He's never had a good time once.
He finished a chapter once. He liked that.
Brilliant.
But he's still struggling to finish this book in Najaf in Iraq, which is a big Shiite city.
Yeah.
Again, I've heard it's all right, but
it's gone for another one.
The thing is, if you change the strike a lot, the bowler doesn't know what to do. If there's a left-hander and a right-hander, do you know what I mean? Then
the whole keep field hitting singles in the same place, they're gonna.
Well, then it changed the field.
Yeah.
Anyway, what the fuck are we talking? Oh yeah, so he does sermons in Najaf, and then a lot of this stuff gets smuggled in by a cassette. So he's like bootlegging.
Right.
He's bootlegging sermons, some of the driest bootlegging you've ever heard. You know those people that stop you in Leicester Square or whatever.
Mate, you got to
hear my mixtape. Yeah. That's Khomeini. Once when I was in New York, we got stopped in Times Square by going, hey, you got to hear my mixtape, PIMP, poetry is my passion. And I was like, that's not what PIMP, what is pimp? You're saying you got a mixtape called pimp poetry.
The pimp poet.
So Khomeini's bootlegging, and this stuff is kind of like through smuggled cassettes, it's getting into the rural Iran. The more conservative Iran, they're picking up. They're like, this guy slaps, man.
But is there anyone doing this intensity of Islam in the region before him? This is pretty still quite new.
Again, we're talking the 60s, and you've got Turkey, which is secular.
I just don't really know.
Iran, secular.
Saudi, there's some shit going on, but it's only just found oil. I don't know.
No, because I think at this point, maybe Iran is still the biggest oil producer in the world. Anyway, so Khomeini's bootlegging, right? And he's just constantly hating on the Shah. Yeah. Now, we need to get to one of the great, just the great moments of this story, which is, so the Shah's been modernising the country a lot. And in 1971, the Shah decides that for the 2500th anniversary of the founding of the Persian Empire, he is going to put Iran on the map by hosting the sickest fucking party there's ever been.
In Persepolis in the desert. Persepolis, which is basically Acropolis, but of the Persian Empire.
Yeah, so Persepolis is the great ruin of the Persian Empire, and it's in the middle of fucking nowhere, and it's hot as shit.
Right.
I mean that in both senses. It's temporally, it's very hot, and it's also fucking sick.
Yeah.
Because this guy, right,
I'd love to go into this.
So there's a documentary narrated by Orson Welles.
Yes.
And what he does
they paid to narrate as
the amount of money,
all the stars.
So it's estimated that this costs in today's money around $700 million.
Right.
Right. And bear in mind that the economy's booming, but people don't have it's only really in the cities where people are having a nice time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people having a very pooey time in Iran. Right.
Rachel Reeves would not be hosting one of these.
No, Rachel Reeves isn't hosting the biggest party. But it's like King Charles doing it.
Yeah.
It's like Rachel Reeves I'm trying to cut to take people's benefits. King Charles I'm hosting the sickest party.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a fucking Glastonbury.
Get some images of the party or stuff, but
right. So what he does now, obviously Persepolis is basically inhospitable, right? Because in the desert. So he builds tents, like marquees, like a big wedding, and the marquees are filled with like chandeliers.
Yeah.
He flies over the like hottest French Michelin star chefs.
Yeah.
And there's this huge table that snakes along, and he invites basically every major king and world leader. And there are, I think it's 75 emperors, kings, queens,
and
prime
so
ministers.
He's announced himself the Shah of Shahs.
Oh yeah, by this point
So
he's crowned himself king of kings.
King of kings. He's an emperor, but because he views emperors in the rankings as the highest of all.
Yeah,
that means that at the top table is him and
Japanese and Haile Selassie.
Haile Selassie, who's technically an emperor, who would be above the Queen of England because she's just a queen.
So the Queen doesn't actually take this invitation
because she knows she's not going to be
I'm going to get cucked here.
Yeah.
So he's going to make the Queen sit on a little stool.
Yeah.
Or
which I guess is that. Do you find out before you go in where you're sitting? I guess there's a seating plan. You don't want to get there and they'd be like, hang on, I'm on the cup table. But then they sent Duke
of Edinburgh goes. He just wants to drink.
Yeah,
he has
exactly.
a great time.
I'd love to.
Fucking the jokes he made in here. Can you imagine? What do they got? They got fucking tea towels on their head. You know, he's saying some wild shit in this. I mean, are those Newcastle fans? What are they doing here? My friend, that's the Saudi elite. That's the Saudi king. What is he? Is he the Newcastle ticket holder? Is he a season ticket holder at Newcastle? What's he doing?
Hell, we all dressed up. They're wearing pajamas.
Is it away day? Bloody hell. So the Duke of Edinburgh's making some very off-colour jokes.
Also, this huge party, still a lot of it, even though it's celebrating the Persian Empire 2,500 years, it's still very much based on a British constitutional night, or like a royal.
Yeah, it's a royal banquet,
but it's styled off a lot of British stuff, which is strange.
Well, yeah, because he is so Western. I mean, even if you look at footage, which we'll get up of the coronation, I remember watching it thinking, this is like the Queen being coronated.
Yeah.
It looks, everyone is exactly British 50s dress.
Yeah.
It's mad. He's got like a sash and shit. So first of all, he welcomes everyone and he ranks them, but there's no thought of what they do once they've met. So it's like autistic dads at a barbecue. They meet the Shah, all these kings and queens, and then no one's there to be like, oh, Your Royal Highness, this is the King of Belgium. They're just milling about like.
Right, so they've spent £700 million on a party, but they haven't got that like.
They haven't got like a party planner,
right?
Or like a host.
Yeah.
So they're just milling about in a fucking massive
which
tent
they're not used to at something like this.
You know, to bear this in mind, this is an inhospitable desert.
Awkward, like a school disco.
Yeah, there's like the blokes are over there and all the queens are over there. But they've built like sewage system, they've built kitchens, they've completely built a city in the desert purely for like 1 or 2 days of a sick party. The menu is they've got a rack of lamb. Oh, this is the actual menu, because at one point they have stuffed quails with like truffles and foie gras, and they serve it on a tray with a massive fucking peacock. And everyone's like, you don't eat peacock. And he's like, fuck it, I'm going to kill a peacock. And that's just decorative. They've killed a peacock, put it in the middle, and then you put quails. They're stuffing everything with truffles and foie gras. Yeah. I mean, it's the French have been given free reign to be as depraved as possible. Which does make me think, what on earth are their toilets?
Yeah.
Are they squatting toilets in the desert?
Kebab.
There's a kebab in there. The greatest party. 700. If you go to a
anybody
wedding,
next, please. Salad sauce. Anybody next?
Everyone's in their sashes. Yes, sir. Yes, please. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No sheesh, just on her. No sheesh, just on her. Yeah, if you went to a wedding where you knew they'd spent £700 million and you were served a kebab, you'd be like, guys.
This is every weekend for me. Why?
Are the hookers, like, where's the money gone? Where's it gone? 2,500 bottles of Dom Perignon, 2,000 bottles of Bordeaux, like Chateau Brion steak, Chateau Neuf de Pape. It's like the best. It's full on. Like, it's the best party ever.
Yeah.
It slaps.
Yeah.
Then they get all of them out to do like a light show, a light and sound show at Persepolis with fireworks. There's a 3-minute pause after the sound show where it's pitch black because they're in the desert and everyone's like, what's going on? And they're quite cold, they're quite chilly. And then the fireworks start, everyone thinks it's a terrorist attack. Because there's been a 3-minute pause and then they just hear this massive explosion. But the light show is like, do you know, I think, what film is it? Is it View to a Kill? There's a sequence in Egypt with a light show. That's what I think of.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, of course it's a James Bond reference.
Yeah, I mean...
Listen,
we're in Bond's on the screen.
Right.
To place this in, we're in 71.
Right.
So this is
Connery's just left.
Yeah, Moore's in. This is Live and Let Die.
Right.
So 71 to 79 is a very critical era during the Bond franchise because it really becomes quite gay.
Right.
So actually, do you know what? Fuck. So Diamonds Are Forever is 71. Oh, is it?
Oh, no,
but Live and Let Die is hot on its heels. Diamonds Are Forever is Connery's last one. So actually, what you could say is that the Iranian Revolution maps the James Bond films in that it's all getting too gay, Roger Moore, and then the Ayatollah is Timothy Dalton.
Right. He comes through.
So it's Live and Let Die 73. Fair enough. Okay.
Right.
So Live and Let Die.
It's all got a bit gay.
It's all a bit like, hello,
and then it.
And it's just getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
Roger Moore, some of the shit he says, his eyebrows twitching, and Bond fans are like, "Come on, man, he's not
making
meant
sort of
to
Tim
be."
Vine jokes after
He's
killed
not meant to be.
people.
He's doing pen behind the ear after killing someone. He's not meant to be gay. Enter Dalton, Ayatollah, the Grumpykins of Bond.
The great thing about James Bond as well is just like the fan base, and I do feel it should be protected because it's so important to British dads. Where it's like for a lot of this is why I find the debate about the next Bond. It's like it should be white and British because. For white British dads,
we've got.
All they have. It's all and it's all these dads. It's like, this is the one happy time I have. Just don't take it from me. This is all I've got.
Genuinely, if my wife goes to bed and the kids are asleep, I'm going to watch a James Bond film.
Just fundamentally, let them have it. It's all they have. It can never mean as much to you as it does to British dads. It just can't.
My favourite film.
It's all they have.
All we've got.
Don't leave it alone.
Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. Imagine the going. It must be so stressful running a film franchise where you know that's the first thing in people's heads in the cinema. Don't ruin it.
Please don't.
Oh, I wonder what this would be like. Don't ruin it.
Don't fuck it. It is all I've got.
All I've got is this film.
Yeah, you're gonna wait till if the new Bond's any good before you kill yourself. That's like you're waiting.
Yeah. If there's a Bond film coming out, I won't kill myself till after it.
Anyway,
so the party is sick,
but it's an absolute. It's one of his biggest fuck ups, if not his biggest fuck up.
The optics have never been worse.
Terrible,
because the country at this point is that people have no political freedom, and there's a lot of money coming in, but it's only being enjoyed by very few of them, and a lot of money is being spent.
Also, this celebration, people can't. It's not like a public thing.
No,
it's not even like Coronation, which is a televised. It's a public thing.
So what he says, so they go and take the film, the documentary they've made of it with Orson Welles. They show it. Now, they're meant to show it to the Iranian cultural minister, but the Shah actually watches it, and his reaction is, where are all the Iranians? And it's like, well, mate, you held a party away from all of them.
Right.
But we should talk about the procession because it is fucking funny.
Yeah.
They do this procession through the desert of like old Persian history, and it looks like a school play. Because they're wearing big Assyrian beards and like fake mustache.
Joseph Technicolor Dreamcoat.
It genuinely is like a nativity play. But it's all the world leaders lined up, and it's just them just walking with like a fucking cardboard wheel. It's like the shittest.
Yeah,
it's awful. Anyway, so that's 1971, and a lot of people, say this is his great moment of like hubris.
Yes,
this is his kind of his mad arrogance, his sense of
complete disconnect with reality.
Yeah. And all the time, he's got a secret police who run a kebab shop who are putting people on spikes and twisting them round.
Right.
He's making doner meat out of dissidents. lamb dissidents. Yeah. There's dissidents on spikes just turning like that. And there's like, yes, please, muffin. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Wait, so the kebab shop near your house called Savak, is that named after the secret police? Or is the secret police named after something historically Persian?
I've got no idea.
Sorry,
I've got no idea.
I don't know why I asked.
But there's 2 kebab shops near me. There's Savak and then there's Kebabish. And Kebabish is called Kebabish because it's actually an Indian restaurant.
Right.
But they do the best kebabs I've ever had.
Right, okay.
Yeah. But Savak is more traditional.
Right.
Just a bit like Sonny and Shia. Like Southeast London's kebab fans are divided.
Right. You got the more traditional and you got the one that maybe has a Persian influence.
Kebabish is fucking wacky as shit, man. Kebabish is mystical. But that's where I am. I'm a Shia, I guess. Yeah. So the Shah, the 70s in Iran, it's starting to get a bit neggy. Yeah. At one point, the Shah goes on a tour of China to see what our old friend
He loves a holiday as well.
He loves a holiday. He's always going on holiday.
He's travelling.
He goes to see what Mao's up to, and he comes back and he goes, "This guy, I don't like to do with this guy. I reckon we can have a one-party state."
Oh yeah, he constantly goes to other people's countries and learns the wrong lesson. That's something.
He goes, what's going on in there?
What's the worst thing that you guys are doing?
He goes to Germany. He's like, oh, what's that? Concentration? All right, no, we'll do that. All right, concentration camps. The Shah's on holiday a lot. He's got air miles, put it that way.
Right.
But he goes to China and he comes back, and rather than think, I probably wouldn't do that kind of land reform, he goes, I reckon one party state's the way to go.
Yeah.
So he comes back and he goes, do you know what? All political parties are banned, and you have to be a member of my party.
Right.
This is, I think, in 75.
Right.
So this basically starts meaning that all the while it should be stressed that Iranians, they're being funded to go to elite universities in Europe and America. Yes. They're becoming very clever, and they come back and there's no jobs for them. So the middle class is being kind of gutted, and so you have these intellectual Iranians who are always talking about
that's a hotbed for communism, isn't it?
Hotbed for communism. They're middle class, but they haven't got jobs. They're commies. They're smelly commies. They're in flat shares.
Yeah.
They're watching Novara media.
Yeah, they're smart homeless people.
When the capitalism fails smart people, they have a big beard, they don't wash their bumps, and they become communists. They start watching Novara media. Aaron Bastani, is he Iranian? Probably is.
He is.
Is he?
Yeah,
there you go. We should get him on.
I'd love to get Bastani on.
Nah, I don't want to talk to him. The smell of his bottom. And Novara got the stinkiest bums in UK media, I reckon.
In UK media, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Telegraph, cleanest arseholes.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. If we're tracking bum washing to, if we're mapping that onto left and right.
Well, I think, the Telegraph probably get through a whole toilet roll.
Every session.
Because they're not caring about the environment at all.
No, exactly. Yeah. And so they're B-daying as well.
Yeah.
These guys just do a shit, then pull up their trousers and go and fucking do a podcast. Oh fucking hell! What are we on about?
You're talking about Novara media. But
yeah, I don't know.
The Iranian Revolution.
Basically, there's more and more political prisoners. Savak are making doner meat out of dissidents.
Yeah.
The middle class have got dirty bums, and it gets to a crunch point.
Right.
In now, I'll enter Saddam. Right.
Yes.
Saddam comes into power in Iraq in, I think, the sort of mid to late 70s. And what he does is he hears some of Khomeini's awful bootlegging, and he's like, get this open mic around my fucking country.
Yeah, because you might think they're all the same, but Saddam's actually kind of the opposite of Khomeini in the kind of evil Middle Eastern.
I fucking love Saddam. I love Saddam.
So he's a secularist, right?
Yeah.
And he believes that all Shia are like mystical fucking weirdos.
Yeah.
Right. And he is trying to run he's just trying to run kind of a classic European dictatorship, right?
Saddam's fashion is one of the best dressed dictatorships that's ever been.
Yeah.
The whole desert camo, the high belt, the beret, the tash. If my wife let me, I would look like Saddam Hussein. because I've got a weak chin, I can't pull it off.
Right.
The tash, but I can go such a strong tash.
Yeah.
And I would ideally just be. I mean, I'd love to do an episode when we do Saddam.
We will do a great episode on Saddam.
When we do Saddam, I'm doing that. I'm doing the fatigues, the belt, the beret, the tat. I'm going for it.
Yeah.
And my wife can just she can just deal with it. You can just deal with it. Saddam kicks bootlegging Khomeini
out of his country.
And bear in mind, he still hasn't finished this book.
Yeah.
And Saddam's like, you've had 20 years, you still not got to the end, get out.
Yeah.
Khomeini, weirdly, goes to France.
Yes. Well, it actually turns out to be a great move because at the time, with the controversies that surrounding the Shah, Khomeini, who is keeping stum about a lot of his maddest beliefs.
Yeah.
And remember, just because his bootlegs have not been widely distributed, the key play that Khomeini does for this whole revolution is he keeps his fucking mouth shut.
Yeah.
He just looks badass and keeps it stum. So in this suburb of Paris, there's a lot of communists coming to meet him. He's starting to be seen as this hope. And all these people who don't like the Shah, the communists, the kind of more
liberal middle class,
the moderate clergy,
Yeah.
they all start putting a lot onto him, and he's just keeping stum.
He's a blank canvas.
He's just letting people project. That's why he's wearing black.
Yeah, because you can project. The Western media basically paint him out to be Gandhi because they're like, oh, bald guy in pajamas. Yeah, I know who that is. He's a freedom fighter.
Yeah. Gandhi Alf.
He's Gandhi Alf. Yeah, exactly. I got it. I get him. That's genuinely what the New York Times they make him out to be. This kind of virtuous, ascetic, kind of holy man who just wants justice.
Yes.
And they don't realise that underneath all that, Grumpy Kens is like, I'm gonna fucking when I get in, I'm gonna be the grumpiest cunt of all time when I get in. So he goes to Paris, and the Western media kind of flock, and because towards the late 70s, you got to put this into context. Vietnam, Watergate, people are getting quite like aggy against America,
colonialism, neocolonialism, all that sort of stuff. American foreign policy,
and so guys with long hair and flares and dirty bums are writing op-eds about how great. Guys about the pipe pajamas are and shit. Yeah. Gandhi's about all this stuff. They're drinking the Gatorade. Yeah. Right, the West. Yeah. And because the Shah there's a lot of political prisoners. His human rights record is quite boo-boo. Even though we haven't talked about the oil crisis either.
The crisis of the 70s, right?
Yeah, just as a quick recap, 1973 Yom Kippur War. That's not about kippers. That's about lanes, boundaries, lanes.
Yeah. Gerrymandering.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
It's Israel. It's Israel.
About borders.
It's about borders, not lanes. Yeah. If only they'd had a lane assist.
Yeah.
The Israelis and the Palestinians. Anyway, it's Israel and Syria, I think. Big war in 1973, and what this does is OPEC, which is the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. There's a boycott of anyone who supports Israel, which is obviously all the Western countries.
Right.
So the price goes through the roof, and then the Shah sees this and he goes, "Oh fuck! If we just increase the price, never mind about what's going on in Israel, we'll fucking cane it in."
Yeah.
So he increases the price so much that his oil revenues go from 13 billion a year to 80 billion a year. And there's 1 year in the 70s where Iran's projected economic growth is 40%.
Yes.
And bear in mind that we live in Britain in 25. We're
1% we're celebrating.
0.05%.
That's what we're doing.
We're on the streets.
Yeah.
We're sucking Keir Starmer off. You've cracked it, right? This guy, Truss, would fucking love this guy.
Yeah.
Right? He's going 40% growth, but none of this money is going to people, and there's no political freedom. So anyway, 1977, Star Wars comes out.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, this Khomeini guy looks a lot like Darth Vader. No, so 1977, the Iranian government cracks down on opposition groups, including the leftists, intellectuals. If you've got a dirty bum, you're getting in jail. Remember the Nazis built the jail. And there's a widespread campaign of censorship, political repression, which only causes more protests. More people are sticking on Khomeini's bootlegs.
Something that happens in nearly all big revolutions is the person in charge fucks it, fumbles the bag, has a meltdown. Yeah. Be it the English Civil War with Charles I, French Revolution, or Tsar Nicholas II in the Russian Revolution. It's always someone. The person that has opportunities to take control of the situation, and they just fuck it.
Fuck it.
This is the beginning of him fucking it. he panics basically because some protests are erupting, and he panics. He sees that Khomeini's getting a lot of support.
Yeah. And what he does now, you know how they talk about triggers?
Yeah.
So like when you're doing GCSE history, you're like, okay, so these are the causes of the First World War. The trigger is the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, which sparks it. You're always looking about causes, the trigger. Now we've talked about the causes for nearly 2 hours now.
Yeah.
The trigger is that someone writes an article, the Iranian, the Shah writes an article in a popular paper calling the Ayatollah gay.
Now he was like, I've got a perfect plan.
Yeah. This will shut him up. He's a woofter.
What, you mean the straightest man who's ever
You
lived?
mean the guy who's making the straightest songs? The guy who's so straight he can't finish a book. He goes, yep, he's gay, he lives in France.
Yeah.
Why else would you move there unless you're gay? He's thick, he's stupid, he's got stupid eyebrows, look at his silly beard, he's big gay. And this is like in a sort of esteemed newspaper, and the country goes fucking apeshit.
Yeah.
They're like,
it's
don't
pure,
call...
It's pure slander.
Yeah, it's complete. None of it's true, obviously. But the Shah's just hit the "you're gay" card. That's all he's got.
And they hate that.
And they all hate
Famously, Iran hates being gay.
Well, but do you reckon in the 60s, in the swinging 60s, is it a little gay?
Yeah, it must be a bit going on.
Homosexuality was criminalised under the Shah. It was mostly tolerated.
Oh, wow.
So it's like a Class C drug.
Yeah.
But then Ayatollah comes in, death penalty.
He's not fucking about.
He doesn't fuck about, the Ayatollah. No. If you get your dick out in the wrong place,
you're fucking
you're
dead.
Done. You're done. He's never more grumpy than seeing gay sex.
Death penalty.
So what happens now is in 1978, 79 is such a big year. We are on the cusp.
We're on the cusp. The trigger has been pulled.
We are in a tinderbox. He's just done it. He's called the grumpy guy gay. What the fuck's going to happen? It's about to kick off. If you can't wait for the next episode where we actually go through the in and outs of the revolution, the embassy siege, all that happens with Iran.
Khomeini sexuality.
Is he gay?
No.
No. Please don't cut my head off. I will spoil that one. I'll ruin that surprise.
He's straight.
He's the straightest man who's ever lived, and I love straight guys. I think they're the best. If you can't wait for the next episode, it's already on the Patreon. Ad free, all that stuff. But either way, thank you so much for listening. Don't cut our heads off. See you next time.